Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new. I'm Scarlet Siren. You can call me Scarlet. Today, we have a song that I kind of teased last week. Yes, last week. Look, I've been working so much, my weeks are all running together. I don't even know what day it is. I really don't. By the time you guys see it, it'll be Sunday, but as far as what day this actually is, I have no idea. It's been a very rough week. But hey, I had my appointment with my therapist today, so it all went good. And she was, you cannot even imagine the look on her face when I gave her the rundown on everything that's gone on in my life in the last 6 months. On that note, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying warm. If it's colder where you are, it was really cold here on Halloween. It was like in the low 40s. I want to say it was like 43 or 42 here on Halloween. And it got warmer and now it's kind of cool again. So this weather's more bipolar than I am, and that's saying something. Anyway, today's song is by an artist that I have loved since she was a very teeny tiny child. And as I said last week, it's not as creepy as it sounds, I promise. I saw her on a talent show when she was 10 years old and immediately thought, oh my god, this girl's gonna have an amazing career. And she did and does, but something that she's kind of doing now is she's branching out. She used to mainly sing classical type music and songs from like musicals and the silver screen and that kind of thing. So, and she has a very operatic singing voice. But she has started to branch out and do kind of like pop music as she's gotten older, which I love. She still does the musical stuff, you know, whenever she feels like it, but she's starting to branch out now that she's gotten older, and she's writing her own music more frequently now, and that's always great. I love to see artists sort of coming into their own and embracing who they are and finally letting the world see who they are. And unfortunately, when she released this song, I saw it on Facebook, the announcement that she was releasing it. I made the decision, and I know I shouldn't have, but I made the decision to click on the post and read the comments. And you should never do that, guys. It it turns into a dumpster fire very quickly. And most of the comments were supportive. I will give them that. But the problem when you are a young female artist and you sing music that is in the genre that she is in, it tends to curate a certain image with the general public. They tend to hold you to a higher standard than they would, say, someone that got their start in, pop music or rock music or what have you. And I did see a few comments that were like, you should have stayed doing this, or I don't like the way that your music is changing. You shouldn't have to sing these types of songs to stay relevant, or this music's too dark for me. You need to cheer up. And this artist has been very open about her struggles with mental health and with a very severe eating disorder that left her with osteoporosis at the grand old age of 22. And some of you may already know who I'm talking about just based on that alone. And if you don't, we'll get into that, obviously. But that's the thing, is when you grow up very young in the public eye like that, and you gravitate towards classical music, people have this image of you that you're this perfect little innocent angel. And that once you start to shed that image, people kind of rebel against that and they don't want to lose that image of you. We've seen it happen with Hayley Westenra, who has not released music in forever. And I know she has her own reasons for that. She's gotten married, gotten divorced, gotten married again. gotten divorced again, had a baby. She's had a whole life happen since the last time. She's had a lifetime of milestones happen since the last time she released new music. And that's great. And her baby is adorable, so cute, and it's so cool to, see her post, little videos and pictures, and it's so cute to imagine her being a mom. But it's so weird because at the same time I'm like, oh my god, I feel old. I would have never imagined her as a mom. But people grow up, and that's the thing that a lot of these, it tends to be the older fans, that they don't want to see these kids grow up. They want to keep them, these little kids, in this bubble, and that doesn't happen. We've seen the disgruntlement happen with Haley Westenra. We saw it happen before Haley with Charlotte Church, and there for a while Charlotte was struggling, but she's doing good now, and that's great. And I love both of those artists very, very much. And another thing, when you start out in that kind of music, you're always going to be compared to the ones that came before you. So, like, for instance, Haley Westenra was always compared to Charlotte Church. And yes, they sang a lot of the same songs because there are only so many classical songs like that, and traditional, like, Irish, Celtic, you know, songs. There's only so many of them. And, you're invariably going to be compared to someone who came before you. And I really, really hate that. I hate it. Because, yes, they might sing the same songs, but they sound totally different. And, if you take two sopranos and you put them next to each other and have them sing the exact same song, the exact same way, it's going to sound different no matter what. No two voices are alike. And even with artists that, make a living doing like impressions, like tribute bands and things like that, I mean, you could get somebody that their job is to pretend to be another celebrity, and it's not going to be the same. No matter how similar the voices may sound, there will always be that slight difference. You might have to listen really, really hard to find it, but it'll be there. And that's the thing is, these comparisons, they're going to happen. They're going to happen. But, there's nothing you can do to stop it from happening. But, I really wish it didn't. And, I was reading these comments, and I also read the comments. I don't know why I do this to myself. I really don't. I also read the comments on one of this artist. She posted a photo that she had taken. I think she was in New York. And she was wearing like a crop top and a pair of, I don't know if it was a pair of jeans or if it was just like trousers. I don't remember the picture exactly. But whatever. She looked cute. She's 22. She's young. She's having fun. She's out on the town. She's sightseeing, doing what people do. And there were so many comments under this picture that were like, you don't need to dress like this. Modesty is better. You should, you should cover yourself up, and, things like that. And I got so mad. And I actually jumped in these comments and I was like, you know what? This girl has been very open about her struggles with an eating disorder, very open about the way that she feels about herself. If she finally feels comfortable enough in her own skin to post this picture, good for her. Shut up and leave her alone. Let her grow up. She's not a child anymore. And, that's the thing about, a lot of people don't realize when you have an eating disorder, they're very, very complex. Always. No matter what kind you have. And it's never just, oh, I want to lose weight, or I'm going to stop eating so that I lose weight. It's never, never that simple. And a lot of people don't realize that there are lifelong repercussions to, if your eating disorder is severe enough, there are lifelong repercussions to those illnesses. I mean, I still have issues even now that I didn't even think were, I would have never imagined that it would have been a result of that. Like, it never crossed my mind that it was a possibility. And I still have those medical issues. And, you know, I'll go to a doctor or something and they'll look at my medical charts and they'll be like, we don't usually see this in somebody your age. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, you know, here's why. And I mean, to be so open about it, like this artist was, and she's starting to reclaim her identity and who she is outside of it. And I think that that's what this particular song is about, just based on the title and all of that. I think it's about that point in her life, but I could be wrong, but I think it is. So I'm very interested to hear this one. And if you haven't figured it out by now, the artist that I am referring to is Jackie Evancho. She is a beautiful girl, absolutely stunning voice. I mean, it's crystal clear, it's pure, it's beautiful. Now, this track is listed as explicit, and I am here for this because, you know, I think this might be the first time that I'm 99% sure she wrote this song. So not only is it the first time that I've heard her use explicit language in a track, it's it's not really the first time I've heard her use explicit language in a track, because she did do a cover of a Joni Mitchell song where she said the word ass, but she didn't write that song. So this is interesting because it's the first use of explicit language in a song that she has written. And I'm very, very interested to see how this plays out. So let's get into this. I have already rambled way longer than I intended. I've taken up 12 minutes so far, and that was not my intention at all. Again, I will apologize in advance for the sound issues. I am working on it, I promise. I promise. Please bear with me. But yeah, let's get into this. This is Consequences by Jackie Evancho, and this was released last week? Week before? I think week before last. Maybe. I don't know. It was very recent in any way. So here we go. Drop is way too steep. This is not what I expected at all. Still, I go through with all the dumb shit. Her phrasing is so good. I like this beat. Gathers weight on both my feet, pulling me in the deep end, but I won't pretend that I'm naive. Consequences filling up my mind. It's more mellow than I was expecting. Doctors keep on telling me I'm fine. See, I think it's about her eating disorder. This is just a waste of my time. Life is not a word I can define. That's interesting. Okay, hold on. I know, I paused. It's interesting that she chose the phrase, oh darn, I just hit my camera, sorry. That she chose the phrase, life is not a word I can define. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if any of you have seen the show Midnight Mass on Netflix. If you haven't, Mike Flanagan, it's beautiful. it's a little monologue heavy, so be prepared if that's not your thing. It might seem long-winded to you, but that line reminds me of a song, a line in the show within one of those giant monologues that he is so fond of, where one of the characters is talking about what she thinks happened when we die. And did I butcher that sentence? What she thinks happens when we die. Whatever, you know what I meant. English is hard today. Words are difficult today. I've done a lot of talking today. Anyway, and she says something about how, I can't remember all of it because it's a very, very long monologue, but she says, you know, the things that I thought were my life it's just a dream that I think is my life. And I dream it over and over and over again. And she's basically saying that that's what existence is. So that's kind of what that reminded me of. Probably not what Jackie was going for, but that's what it reminded me of. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Let the cold sink into my bones. This kind of has like a 70s indie vibe to it. Suck the air from inside my soul. Oh, I thought she was gonna say lungs. Stare into my skin, wanna see where we begin. I really love her phrasing in that. I know I've already said that, but hold your tongue and now hold mine. Don't give me a reason. I don't want the chance to regret. Would play well in a scene in a teen drama show. Am I wrong? Ooh, okay, background vocals that are also Jackie. Ooh, I liked that. That was pretty. I like the way the music just kind of fell off there. Ooh. It's almost like a heartbeat. And it makes sense if you think about the lyrics. Is that it? Okay, that's the end. That was... I don't even know what that's listed. It doesn't give me a genre. I might have to... Let me see something real quick. I want to see what they define it as. Oh, they don't. Okay, never mind. I was going to try to see what genre it was listed as on the streaming app, but it doesn't say. So I would guess they probably define it as a pop song, but to me it doesn't really feel like a pop song. Again, it has that kind of like 70s indie rock vibe, and that's really interesting because I know that Jackie is a big fan of Joni Mitchell, which, come on, who doesn't love Joni Mitchell? I mean, love Joni Mitchell. Which, actually, Joni Mitchell's birthday, Joni Mitchell's birthday was yesterday. Not yesterday for you guys, because you'll see this on Sunday, but as of right now, for recording this, Joni Mitchell's 80th birthday was yesterday. So, hey, cool. Happy birthday, Joni. That's fun. I love Joni Mitchell. I didn't always, actually. For a long time, I didn't get Joni Mitchell, and I think it was just because I wasn't old enough to appreciate it. I think with an artist like Joni Mitchell or Kate Bush or Tori Amos, I think you have to be a certain age and have certain life experiences to really get it. You might like it, but you might not fully understand it until you get older. Like, yeah, I liked Tori Amos in high school and I got most of it. But once I got older and had more life experience, that was when it really clicked. And I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. It makes complete and total sense. Mind blown. Holy crap. So I know that Jackie has, been inspired by Joni and has covered Joni. I mean, she released a whole album of Joni Mitchell songs, and it was beautiful. If you ever have the chance, check it out. The album is called Carousel of Time. It's very, very good. It's so fantastic. It works very well with Jackie's voice, which Joni Mitchell's a hard one to cover and have it not fall flat. It I've heard people cover Joni and they're just singing the words. They're not putting any emotion behind it. So to sing it and have the emotion, it takes real talent, and Jackie has that talent. Brandi Carlile also has that talent. Love Brandi Carlile. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked by all these fabulous women that they're just so talented. But this kind of reminds me of a Joni Mitchell track, and maybe that's the point. Maybe Jackie wanted it to. And if this is the new direction that she's going in, please give me an entire album of this. I will devour it. The lyrics were very, very thought-provoking, especially for someone so young. But again, Jackie has, whoa. Did I see that? My lights just flickered. Uh-oh. That's scary. Okay, anyway. She's had a very privileged life, yes, but it has not been without struggle. And that's the thing is, you can be the richest person in the world. You can have access to the best medical care, the best everything, and still struggle. Mental health and illness do not discriminate. So I think Jackie is definitely one of those that is wise beyond her years. I think she's one of those people that, that my elders would say she's an old soul. And I heard that a lot growing up. And, my best friend's mom told me once that this is when I was a teenager. She told me I was a 40-year-old trapped in a 16-year-old's body. And at the time I was like, I don't know if I should be offended by this or complimented by this. And as I've gotten older, I think I know what she meant. I think she meant you lost all your serotonin very early in life, and you're going to need some help when you get older. And hey, she was right. Don't ever tell her I said that. Don't ever tell her I said she was right. She'll never let me live it down. But anyway, basically that's what that means. When somebody tells you you're an old soul, they basically just mean that life sucked all the joy out of you very early in life, and you're a very serious person. And sometimes I wish I weren't. There are times that I would just love to goof off and act silly and do something wild and crazy and reckless. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that because I spend so much time analyzing every possible outcome, every scenario, everything that I can't do it. The only time I've ever been able to do that is when I've been so drunk that I just couldn't, I wasn't able to think. And that's not a good way to be. And I'm trying to get better at it as I get older, but then my brain goes, it's too late. You should have done it when you were younger because now you are too old to act like that. And people are gonna, they're gonna be like, you're too old to be acting this way. So I feel like I missed out on something. Like I didn't have wild and crazy parties as a teenager or even in my 20s. I didn't do any of that. Because number one, I didn't have a very large circle of friends, but also because I didn't feel comfortable doing that kind of thing. I was too worried about what would happen if I did. I spent too much time thinking, are people going to laugh at me? Are they going to, judge me for this? Or what's going to happen if I do this? Like, what is the worst possible outcome? What's the best possible outcome? What are all the outcomes in between? That's how my brain works. I overanalyze everything. And I have done that since I was a child. And in most aspects of life, it has served me well. But in other aspects, not so much. And I do have a lot of regret about that. I wish I could maybe go back and tell my younger self, hey, maybe don't think about it so much. Like, don't stress so much. But, can't go back. So here we are. I'm just trying to learn how to do it as a semi-middle-aged adult. I mean, I'm not middle-aged yet. I hope not. Good God. I hope I don't die that early. Almost got me again. You almost got me to tell you my age. Again, it's between me and the FBI. One of these days I'm gonna slip up. One of these days. But I digress. I feel like my point was with that whole spiel, I feel like that's kind of how maybe Jackie feels as well. Like maybe she was one of those kids that, she put a lot of high expectations on herself. And that tends to be the case with people that, like Jackie and myself, that struggled with anorexia. That tends to be a common theme with people who have that illness, because you set such high expectations for yourself. You think that you don't need things that other people need. Like, oh, other people might need to eat every 3 hours, but I don't. I'm above that. And in some ways it's extremely arrogant, because you think, oh, these mere mortals, they have to eat every single day. But I don't. I'm better than that. I can go days, weeks without eating, and let me tell you, don't do it, because don't. It's dangerous and it's not worth it. There are times that I have to talk myself down and be like, look, what are you doing? Don't do this. Like, do not go back into this, because if you do, it's going to be 10 times harder to get back out of it. And most of the time I'm successful. Not all the time, but most of the time. So I feel like maybe Jackie is also that kind of individual. And especially maybe even more so because she had fame at such a young age. And she probably felt an immense pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, speak a certain way. And she had I'm sure she probably had these incredibly high expectations for herself, and that carried over into her eating disorder. And it does. And, it happened to me. I would create these rules for myself that were completely ridiculous, when I look back on it. On this day, I could only eat foods that were white, or I could only eat dessert, but only if it was a wet dessert. What? Like, I don't know. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know. I don't know why I picked the rules that I had. But there are still certain things that I notice even now that carry over to that, from that. Like, I can only eat ramen noodles out of one particular bowl in my house. And I have to eat them with chopsticks. let me tell you, this might come as a shock to you. I don't know if you guys know this. I am not Asian. I am white. I am neon white. I practically glow in the goddamn dark. I blend in with the wall. Okay? I am not Asian. So, me trying to use chopsticks to eat ramen noodles? It's a disaster. But the reason I did it was because I was so bad at it. That was the point. Because the slower that I ate, the less I would eat. And if ramen noodles were my only meal of the day and I ate it very slowly, I would eat less of it, thus lowering my caloric intake, so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into all the details because someone out there will see this and use it as a tutorial, and that's not what I want. But my point is, even now, I still only eat ramen noodles out of that bowl with chopsticks. Have I gotten better at using chopsticks? No, of course not. But for some reason, I cannot let go of that habit. Why? I don't know. But anyway, I digress. This song is very, very, very poignant, and I think it really is telling of how Jackie views that period of her life. Especially when she says, doctors keep telling me that I'm fine. Physically, yes, she might be fine. She's not. She, has lingering repercussions, as we discussed earlier, and she always will. I mean, it might get better, but it'll still be there. So she might physically be doing better, but is she doing better mentally, emotionally? Because that is you can fix someone physically. You can get their body weight up. You can get their body weight down if that's what they need. You can fix the physical problem. But if you don't fix the underlying mental and emotional problem, you haven't fixed anything. Not really. Because when I was in inpatient, I saw so many women, so many girls that would get better physically just enough to get out. And then when they got out, they would go right back to all of the habits that they had had. And that's very common. So, I don't know. I feel like this has all just become one giant PSA against, eating disorders and outlining the dangers. And that's true. It's a conversation that needs to be had until it's no longer a problem. So we'll never stop having that conversation. But it does tie back into the song. And I don't know. I really hope that Jackie's doing better. I know I don't know her. It'd be kind of weird if I did. I think if I did know her, I would want to treat her like the sister that I don't have. She would be, I would want to be her big sister and help her out. I don't know how much help I would be. I don't have my life together either. But, I would just want to help her out and try to, be like, hey, you took a path I didn't take. Somehow we ended up with the same illness. We both survived. So here's what we need to do to keep surviving. And, every person is different. But the thing that I've learned is to just do it, like they say in AA, one day at a time. I don't think that that's the only group that says that. It's just the one that I'm most familiar with, because, I watch a lot of TV, and, that's a fairly common thing to be associated with AA. But anyway, yeah, I really like this song. Like I said, if this is the direction that her solo, well, actually, her whole career has been solo, so I can't really say her solo career, but if this is the direction that her non-classical music is going to go, I am so excited. I can't wait. Anyway, talk to me about it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's anything you all want to see, anything you all want to hear. If there are any kind of subjects you want me to touch on in later videos, let me know. Probably not. Look, I don't want my opinion. Nobody wants to know my opinion. I certainly don't. But if you do happen to be curious about my thoughts on things, please let me know. I'll gladly share them with you, although I don't know why you'd want them. But if you do, on the off chance that I might entertain you in some way, leave me a comment. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And yeah, that's really all I've got for this one. As always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.